Hello and welcome to this special show on Rajya Sabha Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and here we take a stock of the fight against COVID-19. Now, one of the very important aspects in this battle against COVID-19 virus is the use of face masks. While the researchers and scientists across the world are working on finding a vaccine for this particular virus, the best protection so far, as per the experts, is wearing a face mask when you are in public places or even when you are out there in your offices, outside on the street as well. And today we will try and understand why it is so important to wear a face mask, what kind of masks can protect us from COVID-19 infection, and also other aspects of mask management. So let me first introduce the guest to you, beginning with Dr. Anant Mohan. He's professor and head of the Department of Pulmonary Medicine and Sleep Disorders at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. We also have with us Dr. Archusman Mohapatra, an epidemiologist, and Dr. Rajiv Dasgupta, professor at the Center of Social Medicine and Community Health Social Sciences in Jawaharlal Nehru University. Welcome, all of you, gentlemen, to Rajya Sabha TV. Let me begin with you, Dr. Anant, and let's start by understanding the importance of face masks vis-a-vis COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, so as we know that this, if you're talking only about COVID-19, this is a viral transmitted disease, and this is transmitted by the particulate matter, by the aerosol route. So it is by basically mostly from the upper respiratory tract, whether it is by coughing, sneezing, or blowing. So that is how it is transmitted in the air for a short distance, and then it tends to settle down to a particular surface because of its weight of the particulate matter. So in that context, the main thing to prevent transmission would be, the main barrier would be to kind of stop it from going beyond a certain limit from one person to another. And aerosol and transmission by the nasal transmission route is very common. So that is where the masks come in. And that is the one that forms the barrier to prevent transmission of this virus. So it is not just for the COVID, actually it is for any virus, any seasonal virus, influenza, rhinovirus, any viruses which cause common cold. The same kind of a philosophy will apply to them as well to prevent transmission from one to the other.
Okay.
Now, the important thing in the mask would be the size, which probably you would be coming to later. So they have to be worn properly. They have to be worn in a way that they protect the person himself who's wearing, as well as the other person. The cloth or the material with which it is made should be having an adequate pore size to prevent the passage of the virus through it, so that it is blocked. So all these technical aspects will then come into play.
What are the different? Since you mentioned it, Dr. Anant, the way it should be worn and the kind of material you're talking about. What are the different types of masks? Because there are a lot of masks which are out there in the market, and sometimes a common man gets confused as to what kind of mask will be really helpful, and the size of that mask as well, how it should be worn, as in mask management.
Well, so I think we'll keep it very simple. There are two basic types of mask, or rather three, if you can talk from the public health perspective. One is the surgical mask, which is much more widely being used by the doctors while performing surgery. So they are the surgical masks, the ones that you see in blue usually in the market, the blue ones with 3 pleats. So they are the surgical masks which are worn. They are to be worn normally as per recommendation by the general public. General public means those who are not really exposed directly or as a routine to potential patients. So they should be worn by them, and there is a particular way of wearing them as well. The direction of the pleats should be in a particular direction. There should be 3 pleats. Then the pore size and all comes into play. Important thing is, when it is worn, it should cover the nose, the nasal cavity, and it should cover the mouth as well. So basically, they are the two locations from which there is a potential for transmission. So there is no point wearing a mask which is kind of hanging below your nose and half open. So all these things are really much more harmful rather than good, because they give you a false sense of security. Then when you wear it over here, then they should be ideally close-fitting, as close-fitting as possible to your face. And there is a kind of a wire on the top, a thin wire, which helps to mold it. So we press it down. It helps to mold it against our skin and our face, so that there is no transmission of air or potential aerosol beyond it from outside from the above. So these are small things which one has to take care when wearing a mask.
Okay.
The other type would be the N95 mask. The N95 means basically that it has the ability to prevent at least 95% of the particulate matter containing the virus from going through it. So that again, pore size, the material size, the thickness of the material. Also, they are much more tight-fitting, close-fitting, and they are usually, as per guidelines, meant for those people who are healthcare workers or those who are taking care or potentially at risk for being exposed to patients in a much more, more than the normal public. So usually all of these masks are supposed to be single-use and disposable, so that they should be thrown after one use, ideally speaking.
Okay. What about cloth masks, Dr. Anant? Because most of the people are seen using and wearing these kind of masks in public.
Yeah, so that was the third one. I missed that. So that is again for the general public. The cloth mask, basically it is again, there was a time when the short supply of masks was a problem, and also the cloth mask came into being that at least you have some barrier when it was like spreading very, very fast, that some barrier should be there and it should be worn properly even for a general public, even at home if required, so that it is accessible to everybody. Because even normal surgical masks may not be accessible to everybody. So they are also equally protective, and they have been approved by various governments globally everywhere. So I think they are also, if worn properly with the proper material, they are also pretty effective against transmission.
Okay. Let me bring in Dr. Archisman here. Dr. Archisman, there's been a lot of research also which has gone into looking at the effectiveness of masks as well. So in your views, how effective or important is wearing a face mask against COVID-19 infection? One, and two, what does these evidence-based researches say?
See, against COVID, no single intervention is entirely protective. So even if we are using a mask cannot be a standalone intervention as a protection. Paramount is social distancing and use of mask and also hand hygiene. So these are relatively, of course, there has been some debate about the feasibility of social distancing in Indian context, but these are mostly doable activities. And if people do all these together, then definitely the protection is really high. Now, regarding use of masks, initially there was a bit of debate whether it should be worn, whether these are actually protecting, whether these can be universalized or not. Of course, a lot depends on the local epidemiology of the disease. If the disease is very high in terms of transmission in the community, then definitely universalization of masks is a very protective intervention and should be practiced very widely. Regarding evidence, yes, there has been some reviews around the utility of masks, and they have been found to actually protect. So masks are protective. There should not be a doubt about it. Of course, there is a lot of misinformation floating around. Something that actually makes it speculative whether masks can actually be used or not. So I would, through your program, I would request the general public to please trust that masks are effective interventions and should take them up.
Okay, so masks are effective intervention and it should be taken up. Let me bring in Dr. Rajeev here as well. Dr. Rajeev, from the public health perspective, as both Dr. Anant and Dr. Archisman are pointing out, would you agree that masks seemingly is the first line of defense against COVID-19?
Yes, of course, that goes without saying, and that's been the advisory also both at global and national and state levels. The challenge is twofold broadly. One is how to keep the use sustained and not fatigue creep in, and that's true for any preventive practice. And as was earlier pointed out, that's equally true for hand washing, equally true of distancing and so on. And the second is how effectively we are communicating and the extent to which we are able to sustain that communication. Now, different countries have strategized this differently. There are countries which, right from the very beginning, have actually been able to translate and disseminate these messages in local languages, in dialects, and so on. And therefore, the quality of risk communication, the content of risk communication, that's extremely crucial. And added to that is the fact that there has to be both a top-down advisory, which is what actually we see in India and the states at present, plus the fact that there has to be extremely effective community engagement and community dialogue, because otherwise the risk perception is actually constructed very differently by different groups of people, whether by gender, by occupation groups, by age, by activity, and so on. These are areas which are still quite weak and require a lot of strengthening. And this is increasingly going to be crucial as fatigue will creep in. Now it's 6 months plus. This is not going to be a short-term thing. This is going to be a long-term thing. In East Asia, masks in public places has been a cultural practice for quite some time now. It's still not so in India. The other issue is often the use of the term face cover. And there's a distinction between a face cover, or rather how one interprets face cover, and a face mask. A face cover can be a loose piece of cloth, a face cover can be a shield, and a face cover can be a mask. And many a times this piece of cloth which one wraps around as a face cover is often not quite effective, because it simply slips down, or people simply do not use it on a continuous basis. So both the science as well as the communication needs to take care of these aspects as we go along.
Okay. So communication has to be effective, and that behavioral change also has to come in. Few more clarifications here, from Dr. Anant. Dr. Anant, as Dr. Rajiv is pointing out, the fatigue factor specifically, we understood that the way masks should be worn, kind of mask which can be worn outside as well, there are different types. But based on gender, based on age factor specifically, if you look at not gender, the age factor specifically for children and the aged old age people, that is one part. Second is also a bit of a clarification on, smaller, finer aspects like should we wear mask when we are exercising, or when we are doing morning walk or brisk walking or running? Is that feasible?
Yeah, okay. So the first point you said, that is more of the social aspects of wearing a mask. For example, in children, obviously it becomes difficult to control. In the last couple of months, of course, there has been a virtual kind of a lockdown. So most of the children were not really going outdoors. So it did not matter much. They are not going to school. But now gradually when the lockdown is opening up, you see more and more children will obviously start coming out of their houses, at least to go to the maybe nearby. So mask will have to be worn, and the challenge would be to ensure that it is worn properly in the children, because they are obviously at a high risk of acquiring the disease, and also it becomes difficult to keep it in the right place, to keep it properly, and also to prevent them tampering with it all the time. The tendency is to always keep on pushing it up, down. So we should ideally not be touching the mask so frequently, because then we touch the hands to many other places. So these are small things which have to be looked at, and it is much more difficult in children. And the second part, you were talking about whether we use mask when we are doing certain activities, for example, physical activities or jogging, exercise. To a large extent, yes, it can be done, because unless a person is having some kind of pre-existing illness or pre-existing lung disease or something, or asthma or something like that, it really should not matter. Of course, it also depends a lot upon the intensity of exercise or exertion you are doing. So as long as you yourself, the person himself, is comfortable with his activities and wearing a mask during those activities, is absolutely all right. But at any point of time when he himself starts feeling suffocated, short of breath, then obviously, or he can take it off for some time and then wear it again. The important thing at that time would be that he should be as alone as possible, so that there is no risk of acquiring or transmitting the disease to anybody. So as long as one is alone, they can easily take off the mask and do the things. If they are in a kind of a group or with 2 or 3 people, then to a large extent, one will be able to do light jogging, brisk walking, or even cycling maybe with a mask in place, as long as they are otherwise in a healthy situation.
Okay. Okay. Any other specifics as far as mask etiquette is concerned, or mask management is concerned, which should be followed in letter and spirit, apart from what you have told us, Dr. Ananta? Because this really is going to be an important aspect in our battle against COVID-19 in the months to come as well.
Well, again, the small things, especially for households, how to maintain the mask at home, especially the cloth mask, how frequently to wash them, where to keep them. So if they are not getting, suppose one is wearing a surgical mask, ideally it should be used and thrown. So when you have worn it for a couple of hours, then it should be disposed of. It should not be just lying down in the house at different places. Or if it has to be kind of reused, if somebody is wearing an N95 mask, at many places it is done on a rotational basis as per guidelines. Also, after every 5 days, one can use it if it is absolutely okay. So then it has to be kept in a proper place. It should be kind of covered, or it can be even left open as long as it is not being touched and not being coming in contact with the others and other articles. So small precautions have to be taken as far as household management and local management or domestic management of the mask is concerned. So these important things have to be taken care of.
Okay. Dr. Archishman, one very important reason why face masks are really crucial in this battle is also because this is a particular disease wherein there are asymptomatic carriers of the virus as well.
Yes, absolutely. So that's almost, in fact, a significant proportion of the people are asymptomatic and they just test positive because one of the relatives might be positive. So as a routine testing, they test positive, but they're asymptomatic. So that, of course, means they're kind of a carrier. So asymptomatic carrier with a potential of transmitting to others, but not really knowing it for many days. So that is why universal mask wearing is something that is being kind of propagated, so that even if you are having a subclinical infection or you are having infection without knowing it, at least one doesn't transmit it to other family members. So that is the whole idea or whole concept behind this universal wearing of mask.
Okay. Dr. Archishman, your views on that?
Yes, I agree to what Dr. Mohan just narrated. In COVID, we also tend to get a pre-symptomatic phase when people start transmitting the disease even before manifesting the disease. That usually happens around the day that they start manifesting, but may start a bit earlier. Mm-hmm. Since this is really difficult to predict when one would give it to some other person, it's better to universalize mask wearing. And also at the same time, it's a lot of self-accountability. So if someone is having a symptom, should actually isolate himself or herself. Don't venture out unnecessarily. Similarly, for those who want to stay protected, should not actually venture out without a purpose. So stay at home, practice social distancing and masks and hand hygiene etiquettes. Those will be very protective.
Okay. And in terms of, mask management or mask etiquettes, as Dr. Anand pointed out, anything you would like to add out there from the disease epidemiology point of view?
Yeah, one thing is indiscriminate disposal of the masks. So just don't throw them away, discard them in the, randomly outside. Put it in a dustbin that has a lid. So that protects actually from aerosolization or further spread of the disease.
Okay.
And regarding N95, what people have been doing is they have envelopes, paper envelopes marked for each day. So they wear it and keep it, then rotate it after, say, a week's time, 4 days, 5 days, a week, to give a break. So those are so guidelines are available if they access the right resources, they access the ministry's resources, they access the All India Institute's resources, and also WHO. They can actually have a very good understanding of how to wear masks. There are very nice resources, video resources also, not just textual, but video resources. And the public can access them instead of just going to YouTube and looking into some not so very authentic, not validated resources. Better to go to these authentic sources and find out the right.
Indeed. The mask management and proper disposal is really crucial out here. And as Dr. Archishman pointed out, one has to look at credible sources of information. In fact, some of these videos can be watched on Rajya Sabha TV as well. Let me bring in Dr. Rajiv here for concluding comments. Dr. Rajiv, you spoke about, the behavioral change, because ultimately in the Indian subcontinent, it is all about bringing in that behavioral change. Wearing masks, while in some other Asian countries is part of the culture, it has not been so in India earlier. But now, slowly and slowly, we see that change happening. What more can be done in terms of bringing this change as soon as possible? Because we are in the middle of this battle against pandemic, and it doesn't look like that it's going to go away in next few weeks or months.
Yes, it's certainly not going to go away. At this point, two issues are crucial to add to what's already been very lucidly explained. One, of course, is investing in research as to how risk perceptions or risk, as we say, is constructed. This whole construct of risk is extremely diverse, is extremely varied, and therefore we still don't know, in a country as diverse as India with an endless variety of cultures, how is risk being constructed. And it's not just a one-time construction. Every day, with every other additional bits of information, the notion of risk changes. And it's equally applicable to you and me as well. It's applicable to everybody on this panel and every viewer. And to back it up, therefore, we actually need investment in data on how the preventive practices are actually being practiced. Because advisories are advisories. Those are interpreted and practiced in different manners based on different parameters. Now, we are collecting all kinds of data, monitoring all kinds of data, analyzing all kinds of data, but not this, which is really going to be crucial and which really is going to be long-term. Therefore, investment in both research as well as data on the preventive practices, and not just one time, but on a sustained basis, is actually going to provide the direction at which these aspects are moving, and then allowing that to the local health authorities to be able to craft and modify and balance the communication messages and techniques.
Okay, that has to be taken care of. Before we bring this to an end, Dr. Anant, some more words of advice from you to all our viewers who are watching this right now, because ultimately all of us are COVID warriors and we will have to behave like one by wearing face masks.
Yes, correct. Because now it is the whole situation is that everybody will have to take up some responsibility on himself or herself to make sure that we bring this to an end as soon as possible. It's not just about hospitalization or medical treatment. It is more about prevention now, because that is something that we'll have to do. We have, with almost 1 lakh cases a day across the country on a almost consistent basis. So the only way can be prevention, again, on a large scale at the entire community or a national level or a global level, I would say. So I would say that everybody should be aware of the minimum possible, at least the minimum requirements: the mask wearing, the physical distancing, and the cough etiquettes and hand hygiene. These are the 3 or 4 pillars on which this entire thing will be resting on, out of which wearing a mask is now, as of now, universal whenever one goes out of the house. The type of mask, again, for the general public, a cloth mask or a surgical mask is good enough. For healthcare workers and those at risk, they can go for the N95. Important to wear it properly, take care of it properly, and dispose of it properly. So these are maybe a couple of key messages which one should kind of take.
Okay, there it is. Thank you so much, Dr. Anant, Dr. Rajiv, as well as Dr. Archisman, for sharing your views with our viewers. It is all about the importance of wearing a face mask as a protection against COVID-19. And as our panelists are pointing out, it is really, really important element. The first line of defense, some say, against COVID-19. Those are some of the aspects in terms of mask management, mask etiquettes, as well as, in addition to social distancing, we need to wear a face mask whenever we step out of our houses. And this is our responsibility as a responsible citizen to fight against COVID-19. We'll come back again with a different topic. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.